Good morning, students. Okay, so yesterday we discussed about the differences between distance and displacement. Okay, so distance is a scalar quantity, displacement is a vector quantity. The magnitude of displacement may be equal to the distance traveled or it will be less than the distance traveled. Okay, and the distance traveled is never equal to zero, whereas the displacement can be equal to zero. When is it equal to zero? If it returns back to its initial position. Okay, then the last difference we had seen is the distance traveled is always positive, whereas the displacement can be positive or negative. Okay, let's see how can the this displacement may be positive or negative. Yes, now just see one example. Here we are studying the same car, what we had discussed yesterday, starts from the point A, reaches a point B, covering 60 kilometers, returns back and reaches a point C, covering 20 kilometers. So what is the displacement in this case? Displacement is the shortest distance between the initial and the final position. Initial position is this and the final position is C. Okay, yesterday also we have seen this example. So what is the displacement? Displacement here is equal to 40 kilometers. Okay, now what is the direction of this displacement? The direction of the displacement is from initial to the final position. Initial, that is from A to C. Okay, A to C is along positive x-axis, and along positive x-axis we take it to be positive. So this displacement is positive. Okay, now how can the displacement be negative? The same car starting from A, reaching a point B, covering 60 kilometers, turns back and reaches a point C, covering 80 kilometers. What is the displacement in this case? A is the initial position, C is the final position. Okay, it's starting from A, travels in a straight line, reaches a point B and turns back and reaches a point C. Okay, how much distance? 80 kilometers. Now this is the initial point, this is the final point. Okay, now the displacement is A to C. A to C, what is its magnitude? Magnitude is 20 kilometers. Okay, 80 minus 60, how much is it? 20 kilometers, the shortest distance between the initial and final position. The direction of the displacement is from initial to the final position. Okay, here the direction was from A to C. Here also the direction is from A to C, but this direction is towards left, towards negative x-axis, and we can take this displacement to be negative. So the displacement is minus 20 kilometers. So the displacement can be positive or negative, but the distance traveled will always be positive. What is the distance traveled in this case? 60 plus 20, 80 kilometers. The total path length is how much? 80 kilometers. What is the distance traveled in this case? 60 plus 80 kilometers, that is 140 kilometers. So the total path length is 60 plus 80, that is 120 kilometers. 140 kilometers is the distance traveled. So the displacement can be positive or negative. So no need to write the example, just understand it. Okay, now we'll do few questions based on it. Write the question. Write down an athlete starts from point A and moves along a circular track of radius r, Okay, an athlete starts from point A, moves along a circular track of radius r. Write down when he returns back to the same point A, find the distance Find the distance traveled and the magnitude of the displacement. Find the distance traveled and the displacement. Okay, an athlete is starting from point A, moving along a circular path. Okay, moving along a circular turn and reaches back the point A. You have to find out the distance traveled and the displacement. Okay, I give you 15 seconds to write the answer. Then I'll write on the board and you can check it. Okay, it's moving along this circular path. So the total path length will be equal to the circumference of this circle. Is returning back to the point A. So what is the distance traveled is the circumference of the circle. And we know that the circumference of the circle is given by 2 pi r. One complete rotation he has done. So what is the distance traveled is returning back to the same point. So the distance traveled is 2 pi r. Now what is the displacement in this case? Returns back to the same point A. So the initial and the final position both are the same. So what is the displacement here? Displacement is 0. Write the next question. Write down a particle starts from point A, moves along a semicircle, a particle starts from point A, moves along a semicircle and reaches a point B. Find the distance and the displacement. Find the distance traveled and the displacement. Okay, a particle, it's starting from point A, moves along a semicircular path and reaches a point B. You have to find out the distance and the displacement. Yes, distance traveled is everyone written. It is half of the circumference of a circle. We know that the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. Okay, half of it will be 2 pi r upon 2. That is, the distance traveled is equal to pi into r. Now, what is the displacement? A is the initial position, B is the final position, the shortest distance between the initial and the final position. Shortest distance between the initial and the final position is how much? The diameter of it, that is r plus r. How much is it? 2r. This is the magnitude of the displacement. What will be the direction of the displacement? The direction of the displacement will be from initial to the final position. That is from A to B. From initial to the final position will be its direction. So here displacement is asked. It means you have to give its magnitude as well as the direction. So the distance traveled is pi r and the displacement is equal to 2r. Write one more question. Write down a particle moves along a path from A to B, B to C and C to D. From A to B, B to C and C to D, as shown in the figure. Okay, now draw the figure. It's starting from point A. Let this is 3 meters. BC is 2 meters. CD is again 3 meters. Okay, find the distance traveled and the displacement. Find the distance traveled and the displacement. Okay, a particle is starting from A, moving along this path, A, B, C, D, along this path. Okay, as shown in the figure, this is the figure. You have to find out the distance and the displacement. Okay, what will be the distance traveled in this case? As you can see, the total path length 3 meters plus 2 meters plus 3 meters. That is, it is equal to 8 meters. So the distance traveled is 8 meters. Now, what is the displacement? As we know that the displacement is the shortest distance between the initial and the final position. What is the initial position? A. Final position is D. And the shortest distance is always a straight line. How much is this AD distance equal to? As it's a rectangle, so it will be equal to BC. That is, the displacement is equal to 2 meters. Now, what is the direction of this displacement? From initial to the final position. That is, the direction of the displacement is from A to D. The direction of the displacement is from A to D. So the distance traveled is 8 meters and the displacement is 2 meters from A to D. Okay, so here you can see that the magnitude of displacement is 2 meters. The distance traveled is 8 meters. So here also you see that the magnitude of displacement is less than the distance traveled. Write the next question. Write down an object moves along the path. An object moves along the path ABC. Moves along the path ABC as shown in the figure. As shown in the figure. Okay, now draw this figure. A particle moves along the path ABC. That is A to B, then B to C. Write down, find out the distance traveled. Find out the distance traveled and the displacement. Find the distance traveled and the displacement. Okay, I give you 30 seconds to write the answer. To find out the answer, you have to find out the distance and the displacement. Displacement, its magnitude as well as the direction. So what is the distance traveled in this case? The total path length from A to B, B to C. That is 4 meters plus 3 meters. Here to here, path length traveled is 4 meters from B to C. The path length traveled is 3 meters. So 4 meters plus 3 meters, that is equals to 7 meters. Now let's find out the displacement. Displacement is the shortest distance between the initial and the final position. What is the initial position? A. Started from A. What is the final position? C. So the shortest distance between the initial and final position, as I said, is always a straight line. So this straight line AC is the displacement. I think you have studied Pythagoras theorem. This is a right angle triangle. AC is the hypotenuse. Perpendicular, this is the base. We know that hypotenuse is equal to under root perpendicular square plus base square. So the displacement, magnitude of the displacement will be equal to under root 4 square plus 3 square. That is under root 16 plus 9. As we know that 16 plus 9 is 25. So it is equal to 5 meters. That is, the displacement here is AC, and AC is equal to 5 meters. Now, what is the direction of this displacement? From initial to the final position, that is from A to C. The direction of the displacement is from A to C. So the displacement, magnitude of displacement is 5 meters and its direction is from initial to the final position, that is from A to C. Again, in this example, you can see that the magnitude of displacement is less than the distance traveled. This is the magnitude of the displacement, which is less than the distance traveled. Okay, done. Now let's do the questions which is given in your book. Take out your book. Okay, few questions given on page number 100. These are unsolved questions. Let's discuss these questions and you have to do it in your copy. There are 3 questions on page number 100. Written this one, the displacement is 5 meters. Direction is from A to C. Okay, that is from initial to the final position. Okay, now page number 100. There are 3 questions. Let us discuss these questions, and these questions you have to write in your copy also. Okay, first is an object has moved through a distance. Can it have zero displacement? An object is moving. Can it have zero displacement? If yes, support your answer by giving an example. Yes, the displacement can be equal to 0. When is it equal to 0? When it returns back to its initial position, then the displacement is 0. One example, any one example, the example which we have discussed in theory, that is 60 kilometers goes forward, returns back 60 kilometers. So the initial and the final position is the same. Or a particle which is moving on a circular path returns back to its initial position, then also the displacement is 0. So write its answer. Yes, the displacement. Yes, the displacement can be equal to 0. Yes, the displacement can be equal to 0 when the particle returns back to its initial position. When the particle returns back to its initial position. Okay, give any example. This example you can give. Just now we had done. Particle starts from A, completes one round and reaches back the point A. Particle moving along the circumference of a circle, completes one round and returns back to the point A. So write down a particle moving along circumference of a circle and completes one round Okay, so in this case the displacement is 0. Question number 2, a farmer moves along the boundary of a square field of side 10 meters in 40 seconds. What will be the magnitude of the displacement of the farmer at the end of 2 minutes 20 seconds from his initial position? Okay, so question number 2 is a farmer is moving along the boundary of a square field. Okay, this is a square field of side 10 meters. Okay, as it's a square, so each side is equal to 10 meters. Let the farmer starts from here, point A. Okay, moving along the boundary, this point, let it be B, C, D. So he is moving along A, B, C, D, A. Okay, so he's moving like this. Or side 10 meters and one round he completes in 40 seconds. So one side in how many seconds will he complete? 10 seconds. Is it so? One complete round starting from A, B, C, D, A reaches back A in 40 seconds. So one side is completing in 10 seconds. So 10 meters. This 10 meters is completing in 10 seconds. This 10 meter also in 10 seconds. Okay. So in 40 seconds is completing one round. Starting from A, again reaching back A. That is completing one round in 40 seconds. What will be the magnitude of the displacement? Here you have to find out the magnitude of the displacement at the end of 2 minutes 20 seconds. So first let's find out his position after 2 minutes 20 seconds. What will be his position? Where will be he after 2 minutes 20 seconds? So after 2 minutes 20 seconds, let's find his position. 2 minutes is equal to 120 seconds. 1 minute equals to 60 seconds. So 2 minutes is equal to 120 plus 20. That is 140 seconds. So let's find out what will be his position after 140 seconds. 40 seconds, one round completed. Next 40 seconds, the second round completed. That is total 80 seconds. The third round will be completed in the next 40 seconds. That is in 120 seconds. So in 120 seconds, he has completed 3 rounds. A to B to A, 1 round, second round, third round. Okay, in 120 seconds. Now 20 seconds more or left. Okay, after 120 seconds, he is at point A. 130 seconds, he will be at point B. 140 seconds, after 140 seconds, he will be at point C. So after 2 minutes, 20 seconds, that is after 140 seconds, what is his position? His position is C. So his final position is C. That is, his final position is after 140 seconds. After 140 seconds, his final position is C. So write down, after 140 seconds, the farmer is at point C. The farmer is at point C. Okay, so first we have found out what is his position after 140 seconds. So after 140 seconds, he is at point C. Okay, now here you have to find out the magnitude of the displacement after 140 seconds. We know that magnitude of displacement is the shortest distance between the initial and the final position. So the shortest distance is always a straight line. So this straight line AC is giving his magnitude of displacement. So magnitude of displacement is equal to AC. Can you find out AC? Again, use the Pythagoras theorem. Pythagoras theorem states that this is the hypotenuse, which is equal to perpendicular square under root perpendicular square plus base square. So AC is equal to under root 10 square plus 10 square. 10 square is how much? 100. 100 plus 100 under root 200 meters. So what is the magnitude of displacement? Under root 200 meters, which can also be written as 2 into 100, 2 in root 2 into 100. Root 100 is how much? 10. So this can also be written as 10 into root 2 meters. I think everyone knows how to simplify it in maths. You have already done. So it is equal to 10 root 2 meters. Okay, either you can write down as under root 200 meters or 10 root 2 meters. Here only the magnitude of displacement is asked. If displacement is asked, you have to give its direction also. What will be the direction? From A to C. Okay, but in the question, only the magnitude of the displacement is asked. So the magnitude of the displacement is under root 200 meters. Okay, so this was the second question. Now the third question. Which of the following is true for displacement? It cannot be 0. In any situation, it can never be equal to 0. Is it true? No, it is false. It can be equal to 0. When is it equal to 0? When the particle returns back to its initial position. So, which of the following is true for displacement? A part, it cannot be 0. Right there, it is false. It is not true. Write down, displacement can be equal to 0. Displacement can be equal to 0 when the particle returns back to its initial position. Okay, displacement can be equal to 0 when the particle returns back to its initial position. Okay, now the B part is its magnitude is greater than the distance traveled by the object. The magnitude of the displacement given in the question is greater than the distance traveled. Is it true? In the differences also we have seen, with the examples also we have studied that the magnitude of the displacement can be equal to the distance traveled, or it will be less than the distance traveled. It can never be greater than the distance traveled. It is never possible. So this statement is false. Okay, so the magnitude of the displacement greater than the distance traveled, it is false. So write down it. This is also not true. It's not true because Because magnitude of displacement, write down, because magnitude of displacement can be equal or less than the distance traveled. Because magnitude of displacement can be equal or less than the distance traveled. So this is also false. Okay, next we'll study about uniform and non-uniform motion. Okay, now uniform motion. It means if the body is covering equal distances in equal time intervals. Okay, whenever the body is moving, it is covering the path length in some time. So if the body is covering equal distances in equal intervals of time, then such a motion we call it as uniform motion. Whereas non-uniform motion is the one in which the body covers unequal distances in equal intervals of time. Okay, unequal distances. For example, a car is moving, on a road. Let's take an example. A car is moving on a road, and in every 20 seconds, it is covering 20 meters. In every 20 seconds, it's covering 20 meters. That is, in the first 20 seconds, it covers 20 meters. In the next 20 seconds, again, it covers 20 meters. So if we write here the distance traveled in time t, how much distance it has traveled? In 20 seconds, how much distance it has traveled? 20 meters. Okay, in the next 20 seconds, that is total 40 seconds. How much is the distance traveled? 40 meters. In the next 20 seconds, what will be the total time? Okay, this is 20 seconds, 20 meters. Next 20 seconds means 20 plus 20, 40 seconds. So in the next 20 seconds, 40 plus 20, how much? 60 seconds. How much distance it has traveled? 60 meters. Let's just taking an example. Okay, in the next 20 seconds, that is in 80 seconds, it has covered 80 meters. Which type of motion is it? Is it uniform or non-uniform motion? So here we see that in every 20 seconds, the car is covering 20 meters. The car is moving a distance of 20 meters. So such type of motion, we call it as uniform motion. So this type of motion is called as uniform motion. Okay, the example is a car moving on a straight road, covering 20 meters in every 20 seconds. This is an example of uniform motion. Now the same car, okay, this was on a road where no traffic is there. Now the car reaches a road where a lot of traffic is there. So sometimes it is covering less distance in the same time, and sometimes it is covering more distance in the same time. Okay, now the same car has reached a very busy road. Okay, there's a lot of traffic on the road. So the same car. So in the first 20 seconds, let the distance travel. We are just taking one example. In the first 20 seconds, let the car has moved 20 meters. In the next 20 seconds, the car has moved only 10 meters. There was a lot of traffic. Okay, so the distance traveled is how much? 30 meters. 20 plus 10, how much is it? 30 meters. Okay, then in 60 seconds, okay, equal intervals of time. In 60 seconds, let it has traveled only 5 meters. That is 35 meters. Okay, now in the next 20 seconds, it has covered a distance of 25 meters. Okay, there was no traffic, so it moved very fast. So in the next 20 seconds, it has moved 25 meters. That is, this is equal to okay, that is 60 meters. Now this is an example of non-uniform motion. First 20 seconds, it has moved a distance of 20 meters. Next 20 seconds, it has moved a distance only of 10 meters. Next 20 seconds, it has moved a distance of 5 meters. Next 20 seconds, it has moved a distance of 25 meters. So the speed is not constant, that is, it is covering unequal distances in equal intervals of time. So this is an example of non-uniform motion. Okay, so this car is moving, this car is in uniform motion, but when it reaches a busy road, its speed is not constant, that is, it is covering unequal distances in equal intervals of time. So this type of motion, we call it as non-uniform motion. Okay, so write a question. Okay, and you'll write the answer yourself. Write down, what is uniform motion? What is uniform motion? And give one example of it. And give one example of it. What is uniform motion? And give one example of it. Okay, uniform motion in which the object covers equal distances in equal intervals of time. What example you can go give? A car which is moving on an empty road. It's covering 20 meters in every 20 seconds. So this car is in uniform motion. Okay, write the next question. What is non-uniform motion? What is non-uniform motion? What is non-uniform motion? And give one example of it. So what will you write? What is non-uniform motion? In which the object covers unequal distances in equal intervals of time. Time interval is equal. Time interval is 20 seconds, but it is covering unequal distances. So what is the answer? If the object covers unequal distances in equal intervals of time. Okay, example is a car moving on a busy road. Okay, a car moving on a busy road is an example of non-uniform motion, or any object which is dropped from a height. That motion is also non-uniform. As it is approaching towards the earth, its distance covered will become less and less. Why? Because it is being attracted by the earth. Okay, so the second example here you can write down, any object freely falling under gravity. An object freely falling under gravity. Okay, or you can write down an object dropped from a height. An object dropped from a height is an example of non-uniform motion. Why? It is constantly being attracted by the earth. So due to earth's gravity, its motion will be non-uniform. That is, it will not cover equal distances in equal intervals of time. Okay, so such a motion, we call it as non-uniform motion. So today we have studied about uniform and non-uniform motion. Uniform motion is the one in which the particle covers equal distances in equal intervals of time. Such a motion, we call it as uniform motion. Non-uniform motion, in which the object covers unequal distances in equal intervals of time. So in equal time intervals, it is covering unequal distances. Such a motion, we call it as non-uniform motion. Okay, so here you have to write the answer. I think everyone can write down, and with one example of each. Okay, so tomorrow we'll continue with or on the next one we'll continue with speed and velocity. Okay, we'll discuss what is speed, what is velocity, the next few more two physical quantities. Here we have already studied distance and displacement. Okay, physical quantities are those which can be measured. They are called as the physical quantities. Examples: all the quantities, distance, displacement, speed, velocity, force, time, mass, all these are physical quantities. Okay, these physical quantities can be grouped into two types, can be divided into two types: scalar and vector quantities. Scalar quantities which have only magnitude. Examples are distance is a scalar quantity, time is a scalar quantity, mass is a scalar quantity. Okay, all these are scalar quantities. Vector quantities are those which have magnitude as well as direction. They are called as the vector quantities. Examples are displacement, velocity, force, acceleration, all these are vector quantities. Okay, this question sir has already given you, so I'm not giving this question. Okay, so on the next one, we'll continue with speed and velocity. Thank you, everyone.